And we're back. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I got to get some intro music here, but licensing music so I don't get sued is kind of expensive, especially the ones that like are really, really good songs. So I'm kind of working through that. Bear with me, you guys. I'm a startup. I'm figuring this all out, but I'm going to get it for you. And yeah, because I love some good intro music every time we roll in like that. Anthony and I are both Italian. We'll do the fist bump. Yeah,
you know, I get the tracksuit on too.
You do have the tracksuit on. You're being legit, man. That's what I need. We need matching tracksuits for sure. Hey, before we get into today's episode, I got to let you know it's brought to you by my friends over at Bitfreighter. They're my preferred EDI partner. The guys at Bitfreighter are on a mission to connect the logistics industry with a flat fee for unlimited EDI messaging. Carriers and owner-operators alike, you're costing yourself business by not having a digital option to accept tenders from your customers. With the Load Accept platform, EDI is no longer an expensive and unattainable option for companies who may not have a legacy TMS to utilize for their day-to-day operations. Load Accept levels a playing field for your organization and makes you EDI compliant with your customers through automation. If your customers are requiring you to have EDI capabilities, you now have a seamless and effective tool to utilize in Load Accept. If you're ready to learn more, visit www.bitfreighter.com to request a Load Accept demo today. Just do me a favor, let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. I appreciate you guys so much for making this dream of mine a reality. Most importantly, you know, we're out here, we're doing big things this year. We're going to be doing a lot more content. If you guys thought I did a lot of content last year, you're going to be pleasantly surprised because we're going really hard in the paint this year. I got my really good friend here, Anthony Petitte with TruckPark, and we're here to talk about truck parking and all of the massive concerns that are with that, you know, because like, again, here we are. I've voiced my opinion on this in the past. I think one of the biggest misses of the infrastructure bill was there was nothing earmarked towards fixing the truck parking. It's a crisis at this point. Let's call it what it is. It's not a problem. It's a crisis. Like there are, with the amount of trucks that are on the road, with ELDs being what they are, there's got to be more options. There has to be, because otherwise, I mean, are we just going to expect our drivers to sleep on the side of the freeway? You know, we can't do that. So Anthony, thanks for joining me, man. Introduce yourself a little bit. Tell everybody about who you are, if they don't know you already.
Thank you for having me on the show, Chris.
We're
great buddies, and this is fun. You know, I love just being live and just talking about truck park and truck parking. And as you said, it's truly a crisis. It's not longer a problem; it is a crisis. But anyways, I'm Anthony Petitte. I'm the CEO of TruckPark. We founded this company about 5 years ago. Started off just with one parking facility and grew to about 1,100 now all across the country. And just like you said, we recognize the problem. So we continue building both on the supply side and the demand side. On the supply side, we're always looking at new truck parking facilities. On the demand side, we're always trying to, you know, pick up the drivers, the carriers, the brokers and shippers, and let them know that we have safe and available parking for any of their assets.
Yeah. So how would a driver even find, like, you guys operate off of an app. So how would a driver, like, walk me through this? What would a driver do to even find a spot on there? Is it just based off of their GPS location? Do they put like their receiving city in there, or they put their route out for the day? Kind of walk us through that.
Yeah. So it's honestly multiple ways. So once they download the app, they can actually utilize their GPS location. So I think the application uses like a backend code that pulls in whatever geographic location that they're currently in. So if they're driving and they're like literally on the I-10 and they're in the middle of whatever state, they can literally pull up what truck parking facilities are going to be nearest them within a 25-mile radius. They can also do route planning. So a lot of the drivers that have worked with TruckPark use it for route planning purposes. So they're not going to book on demand, they're going to book in advance. And that's really helping them plan out their days, because their days get busy and their days have many variables, weather, traffic on the road, accidents that occur on the highways. So that's how they can essentially utilize our tool. The other way is they can just go in manually on the app, and there's a search bar at the top. They can type in whatever destination they have. Let's say it's Atlanta, Georgia. They type in Atlanta, it's going to populate all the locations we have near Atlanta, Georgia.
Is this something that, is this like a, a subscription, like a driver has to pay just to find parking on there? Is that something they have to sign up for, or is it like kind of walk through that? It's like a membership thing, kind of like a gym or something like that.
Yeah, good question. So it's a transactional model. So drivers do not have to pay a subscription. It's essentially a free app, and drivers honestly ask us that all the time. It's like, well, do I have to pay for this app on the App Store? It's like, no, it's free. It's free to download. Once you get into the app, you're going to see the spaces. You're going to see the locations. Every location is going to have a price. It's not all going to be the same fixed price. It's going to be a variable of prices. It might be $20 overnight and $100 for monthly. And that might be in a location in Chicago, while New York is slightly more expensive. The driver pays when they want to book that spot. That's all. They don't pay a monthly fee. They're not going to pay for any additional things. They're just going to pay when they want to book that spot.
I got you. And hey, as we're going, drop your comments and questions in the chat. We'll answer them as we kind of come along. Do that. We're here to answer any questions you guys might have, about anything truck parking or just anything in general. If you want to say how great I'm looking today, that works too. I appreciate all of those comments. But no, I mean, Anthony, my thing is with this, what if a company wants to go in and, I mean, say they're, please don't sue me for using your name here. Say they're a Love's Truck Stop loyalist or something like that, or insert any chain that you guys might have a partnership with out there. Is there a way that they can book out for the month, but it's like and then they just mark like what city they're going to be in that night? Is that an option on your guys' platform?
Yeah. So we have multiple products. What we were just talking about was for the independent owner operators with 10 trucks or less. Yeah. We've also built out a system called TruckPark Reserve, and that's for fleets. So if you have a fleet with 10 trucks or more, and what you're saying is you want to go in there, you're trying to pre-plan your route for all your drivers, you can actually type in that city or that state that you're going to be essentially booking for in advance. And so you can do all of that within the TruckPark Reserve platform. And that's a web platform. So it's free to sign up. Once you're in it, you get a personalized dashboard almost. So let's say CJ Trucking, right, can literally see, their number of trucks that are within their company in the dashboard. They can see all the locations that we have within the TruckPark inventory. And then lastly, they could, you see all the reservations, like every single reservation that was made. And then they can go ahead and there's a lot of customizations in there as well. So it's a really cool tool, and definitely encourage fleets to use it.
Okay. So what if, let me ask you this, say a driver, this is a common thing where a driver's, they're at the truck stop, they're waiting for their appointment. They find out that pesky broker, the appointment got changed and they got to stay another night, but their spot wasn't, can they stay there? Can they just instantly go in and reserve that spot that they're in so they don't have to move again? Is that really an option, or how does that work if there's any like last minute changes?
Yeah. So usually fleets do that. They'll buy a spot and then they can kind of interchange the trucks that are coming in and out of the trailers for the month. So usually they'll buy monthly parking. When it comes to independent owner operators, there's so much on the go that they'll book a spot. And at one point we were like, we're going to put this for 12 hours. And that was kind of trial and error in the very beginning of TruckPark. And a lot of drivers got mad. No, we want 24 hours. Yeah. Then all the data that we've aggregated shows that they're literally staying between 8 and 12 hours and they're gone. Either way, we gave them the 24 hours so they can, feel that sense. But to answer your question, yeah, the independent owner operators really don't do that, but the fleets, they can interchange, their drivers in and out of that space anytime they want.
Okay. I got you. All right. Shout out to Greg McLean, Eric Bodelson, and Jod Ranvansky out in the comments. Greg brings up about zoning laws and allow commercial businesses to expand out their parking lots of current facilities and build additional truck stops. I think that needs to be looked at in a lot of major metropolitan areas. I think again, it's like, okay, back to the infrastructure bill, as it wasn't a part of it, but as a lot of these changes are being implemented, a lot of these new bridges that are being built, freeways that are being built, that needs to be looked at as an actual option here, because if we're going to change the landscape of some of these major metropolitan areas, again, I'm not on the zoning committee. I don't know. My assumption is that they're going to be building out and refreshing a lot of these bridges and roads. They need to look at this. What options do we have out there for that? Eric Bolison, we know semi trucks and containers don't really exist. They are all hidden behind the curtain. That is funny. And then, yeah, that John, you're right. Trucking companies should provide this for their drivers. Eric, yeah, there's that was just the one part that you're talking about there with the 45% of truckers that are owner operators. That was more, we were talking about the fleet option that was in there. TruckPark is primarily designed. I mean, Anthony, you can answer that. You guys are for the owner operator and for the small trucking companies. That is your guys' primary clientele and target market, correct?
No, that's correct. Yeah. So I see in comments, Eric answered that or asked that question rather. So yeah, we take care of the owner operators. We take care of the fleets. We build all the products so that we can literally be an ecosystem for truck parking.
You guys aren't just an ecosystem for truck parking. And that's what I love. You guys didn't just stop there. Talk about, because like, man, you're just as passionate about this. You're more passionate about this than anybody I've ever met when it comes to truck parking and really improving the overall driver experience that's out there. Because you guys didn't just stop with truck parking. What other service offerings that you guys have that are like a value add essentially to the driver community in regard? I mean, I'll just kind of let you take it from there.
Yeah, first of all, you're right. We're more than just a truck parking company, right? I shouldn't even say we're a technology company. We're an experience. Right, we're giving an experience to the drivers, and we're trying to give back to the drivers in a way. But really, to answer your question, we just created this application so that we can give back, right? And the value add parts of that is like we've partnered with repair and tow shops. We've partnered up with on-demand fuel that it can literally bring fuel to the driver. Okay, so let's say you are at one of our truck parking locations and you're parked at one of the spots. We have a service, and it's not our service, it's a third party, but they can bring fuel to that driver. So the driver doesn't have to leave at night. Maybe they don't know the area, they don't know where certain fuel stations or gas stations are. They can stay in their trucks and get filled up. Or in fact, a lot of them are actually sleeping. And then the wet hose, and when they wake up in the morning, they got a full tank of gas. So that's really cool. We've during the pandemic, we looked into providing health services, right? Like on-demand health services. We partnered up with UCT Health down in Tennessee. We partnered up with a company in San Francisco who an app, basically I think it was App Genie or Genie Health. And anyways, we literally had this partnership where drivers could essentially get their pharmacy. They can go to a pharmacy anywhere in the country. They didn't have to go back to their hometown to go pick up a prescription. They can talk to a doctor in the cab of their trucks. So these are just different ways that we were providing value-added services on top of our normal, truck parking platform.
Yeah, no, definitely. Now, because like you guys, I mean, even on top of that, there's like with hotel chains, correct? You guys have stuff on there. If for whatever reason, if a driver's mechanical issue or there's a delay somewhere, they don't have to just stay in their truck. There's alternative options for them through hotel chains, or even fitness was another part of it as well too, right? You guys have something in regards to like gym memberships and stuff.
Yeah, we have some really cool deals right now with hotels. I want everybody to tune in and really listen to this, because we're going to be announcing hopefully this month, if not early February, a really large chain hotel that we're going to give some really fantastic industry exclusive discounts to drivers. So this is going to be absolutely huge. I don't think anybody's doing this right now. We're not doing it because we want, more press for truck park. We're doing it because we want to help drivers find safe and secure parking. Just like you said, like when they can't find parking in any other location, we're opening up hotels now where a driver can come in and actually park there. Or they can go in and actually get a nice hot shower and a nice place to rest. And there's going to be very, very good discounts. Now, to answer your question, yeah, we already have been working with hotels, smaller hotels, some bigger name hotels, but like franchisees of those hotels. So I think on our platform right now, we probably have about 45 or 50 of them. But this new hotel partnership that I'm talking about, I'm smiling, I'm very lit up about. We're actually going to be adding on about 400 to 500 new locations.
Dang. Dude, that's awesome. I mean, again, it's taking a different look on how do we, because like again, it is an experience. How do we improve the driver experience? How do we take what they grew through? Because again, I understand that the drivers are a piece of the supply chain. They're one piece in a 10,000 jigsaw puzzle, but they're that annoying that not that they, but that if that corner piece is missing, that's the most like crucial one, and that's what it is drivers are legitimately the start and stop of this industry when it comes down to it. And their needs, like better facilities and all of the better options for them, have been looked over for so long, in my opinion. It's like talking to my old man and a lot of the guys that, I mean, these are the guys that I hung out with growing up, or all my dad's friends. They're all a bunch of owner operators, they're all a bunch of old school truckers, and it's like talking to them then. And even, recently, a lot of the issues that we're dealing or talking about today have been an issue since the 70s. Like put that into context. Like that's almost, I'm terrible at math, but that's gonna be close to 50 years,
Yeah.
and that's a big issue, because it's like, again, talking about it's one thing, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of action being put into making changes about this, because it's like, I would, and I'm not mentioning names or anything like that, but again, I talk to drivers a lot. I have current family members that are driving today, literally behind the wheel right now. And I hear it from them all the time. The access to some of these facilities that they have to utilize are atrocious. All right. The showers that they're like, the executive teams would not use those showers. Why are the drivers forced to use showers like that? And again, I understand there's organizational things that, there's staffing, all of that stuff that come along with it. Like, I'm not blind to the fact that there are multiple factors that come into it, but I think it's a basic human right to have access to a clean shower and a meal, right? Like that especially in the United States of America anyways.
Oh, 100%. I agree. And I have, well, first of all, the reason why I even got into TruckPark was actually through my late uncle. And unfortunately, he passed away, but he got me in this space. And I didn't know anything about it before. Like, I grew up in an area where there wasn't a lot of people that went off to be truck drivers, other than really my uncle. And by jumping in the space, he was telling me all of just everything that the truck drivers have been going through. And funny enough, he started in 1972. So, you're going back to 1970. And I just thought of that. But yeah, he told me about like the showers, and he's talking to me about truck parking. And this was even back then, right? He's talked about, the detention, the wait times at facilities, at shipper facilities. So, when I got in this industry, I was like, wow, what can I do to help? Like, how could we, provide really visibility? And that's what TruckPark Marketplace is really all about. It's providing visibility, because honestly, drivers back then had no way of knowing where these truck parking locations were. They had no way of knowing where even warehousing facilities are. There's been so many great apps to show that visibility as well. And then the showers too. Like, if any driver is literally on live right now listening to us, I 100% that they can say that they've been to a shower once in their lifetimes as a truck driver where it was so nasty and so grimy that they didn't even want to take a shower. It was like almost better to not take a shower than to take a shower at that facility. I mean, wouldn't you agree that having your family members as truck drivers, I'm sure share that same sentiment.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, they do. They also share the same sentiment that there are some, just like in everything, there are some drivers that contribute to the filth that is going on inside of some of these facilities, But at the end of the day, though, that isn't as common as how it is to go into 90% of the truck stops that are out there. And it's like, it's clear that they haven't been cleaned in a couple hours, or a couple of days even at that point, And again, it's like, not one of us would utilize that, and it's like bringing up detention. I'm glad you brought that up, because like detention's a part of the industry. All right. Like, unfortunately, there's going to be wait time. There's a lot of stuff that goes wrong. There are delays of the inbound shipments. There's a lot of different factors out there, but it is if the driver's being compensated for their time or not. Because again, nobody listening to this right now is going to go into work for free for 24 hours. Unless you're an entrepreneur and you're starting your business, then that's just part of it. But that's irrelevant right now. But if you're an employee of somebody and you're going in there, you're not going to work for free. You're not going to lay over. You're not going to sit there for 2 days for nothing, and then it's what kind of comes along with it. And again, I know there are things that contribute to a lot of the issues. There are drivers that contribute to a lot of these issues that are going on. There's brokers, there's shippers. Everybody is guilty here. And that is what I just want to be like brought to light, is it's like, hey, if we want change, we all got to accept our part in what we can do to make said change. But, detention's part of it. But you need to compensate these people for their time, because it's expensive to run a truck. You're like right now, I mean, Jesus, it's -15 in parts of the country. And, you saw what happened on I-95 in Virginia the other day, like stuck on the road like that. I mean, just imagine but at a facility and, running your truck to keep your, or you can't leave, for example, because there are facilities that when you check in, you're there till you're loaded. Otherwise you lose your spot in line, so you're running low on fuel. You don't have enough food, stuff like that. Like that's inhumane treatment, in my opinion. And I could go on and on about that, because again, there has to be, a look in the mirror from some people about what's actually going on and saying, what can I do to fix this or improve this? Because again, there are some great shippers out there. I've heard them all. I've heard about them all. They have driver lounges. They have everything. They even have light snacks for them, waters, stuff like that, bathrooms, everything. They take care of them. And, those are the ones that I really, would love to highlight. Jumping into the comments. What's up, Raquel? How are you? She wants to know how we can help. Anthony, reach out to her or reach out to Anthony. He loves to talk. Let's see. No, I'm just kidding. Joel, exactly right. Joel Bazire. I'm sorry if I butchered your last name there. So TruckPark's a service that's long been overdue. Can truck parking facilities in Canada join your platform, Anthony? Talk about that, because I believe that's an option, right?
Yeah, we have some options in Canada right now, mostly hotels, but I would love to bring on more truck parking facilities in Canada. I mean, if Joel, I see you in the comments. If you have truck parking facilities, or you're looking for truck parking facilities, or somebody with truck parking facilities, please go ahead and just connect with me on LinkedIn and let's chat. I mean, as Chris said, I love to talk, so that's why I'm on the show. I just want to talk. I want to talk to everybody. I want to help everybody. That's what my nature is. I'm all about helping people.
That's what I meant. He people helping people. That's what Anthony's all about. Nico Brown, what's going on? Brian Schendler. He might be a face on this show here coming up here. Brian Schendler. I had the pleasure of meeting up with him. My buddy, Andrew Teal. What's going on? Yes, Andrew Teal. 285 a mile with 2 hours to load and 2 hours to unload. It should be part of the rate. I agree on that part, where if your rate per mile does include something, it's not, oh, hey, I've been here for 5 minutes, you need to pay me detention time, stuff like that. Like, yeah, there are a lot of parameters in there. If anybody connect with Andrew Teal as well. Andrew Teal is somebody who I've learned a ton from. He is very open-minded to a lot of this industry, because he's got a ton of experience out there. He is an active CDL holder as well. He's worked for some of the largest shippers in North America. He's got a ton of great experience, a ton of knowledge. I've learned from him a lot. He's another really good friend of mine as well. Yeah, Nico, I saw that about your post the other day about the issue out on 95 out there. And, again, it's, that's the, but, like even there, Anthony, like when you're trip planning out, you're watching the weather and everything else, how many drivers could have possibly benefited from knowing where truck stops are? Because again, I think you only know what you know. And, just seeing like, hey, you know what, if I would have, there's a truck park that's, a parking facility that's en route, something like that to help you plan out or get you closer to your facility, get you so you can have more adequate rest. That's the benefit of utilizing something like this, so like talk about that portion of it as well, because this isn't just a couple of facilities, like this shows multiple different areas that are out in their network that they're running in, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, like I said, we have over 1,100 truck parking facilities. So you can see the visibility of all our facilities on any platform that you participate in. So if you're independent owner operator. Again, you sign up for the TruckPark app. It's available on iOS and Android. It's free again to download. It takes you about 2 minutes to sign up. You can see all of our locations. You can see the visibility locations. And when I talk about the visibility locations, I mean, you can see amenities. You can see the description, like how do you enter the facility. So if you're driving at night, you can't see the facility, maybe the light went out overhead or whatever. It literally tells you step by step on how to get into that truck facility. Go past the, whatever landmark, the mailbox, and take a right at the tree that has, oak on it or whatever. Like literally we've gotten so specific in description. We have gotten just very specific in the details of security. Like what kind of security do you have? Do you have man guard? Do you have a fenced in perimeter? Is it camera surveillance? What kind of security? Sometimes like bird's eye view, and there's just a aerial surveillance, and just a bunch of companies out there. We even show amenities, so you can see if it has bathrooms, showers, plugins if you're a reefer. It will even show you like the lighting, like what kind of lighting facades are set up in the facility. So all of that information is set up literally in the application. It's easy to see. It's visible to the drivers. Then we show pricing, and then we also show space availability. So everything is based on this algorithm in the back. So if a driver or a fleet go ahead and let's say book one truck, or they book 20 trucks and there's 200 spots, it's going to either show there's 180 available, 199 available. So it's always showing information real time.
No, absolutely. Josh Hempstead, what's going on, brother? How are you? Andrew too has a really good question. Have you guys ever rejected working with a facility for various reasons? The amenities, the safety, anything along those lines? What criteria do you guys have when you're sourcing your partners for parking?
Yeah, that's an excellent question, Andrew. So we have rejected facilities. We do not take facilities that do not have security. If they don't have a fenced in perimeter, they don't have security, and there's no really workflow. When I say workflow, obviously that's a development term, so to speak. But if it's not set up for greatness for the driver, and there's not going to be an experience for them, we don't partner with them. So you have to be secure. You have to have some sort of measurement or threshold of security. So we have 3 thresholds of security. One is is camera surveillance, 100% needed. 2 is fenced in perimeter. 3 is that gate at the entry and exit way. If you don't have that, we don't partner up with them.
Oh, wow. So how do, because like, again, driver safety, I've been talking to drivers and a lot recently, and the safety of them at night again, I think like depending on what part of the country that you're going into, you just don't know certain areas. Okay. You don't know, if there's a certain suburb in a city that is bad, then you're bad news or something like that. And it's like, how do you guys, I guess, does that kind of fall into the realm of companies that you just don't work with at that point? How do you vet that? Like, do you guys go on and search by like certain crime percentages and something like that to see like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to mention any cities anywhere because I don't want to throw anything under the bus, but like, hey, this city of this, or this metro area, we don't want to work in there. We don't want to advocate any of our clients park in that area. So we're going to highlight, either right before or there's another one 15 miles down the road. How do you guys kind of work around that?
Yeah. So we collect a lot of data and then we aggregate it. So we want to look at big data in a sense where city, right? We want to look at cargo theft or crime in that area. And then we assess, of course, the security thresholds, as I was talking about. So, we look at the camera, the surveillance, the man guards, if there's man guards. Now, I will tell you this. Let's say you go to a metropolitan city like Detroit, where there's a lot of cargo theft or there's just a lot of crime. But if that specific truck parking facility is set up where they have man guards at every access point or entry or departure point, then we start looking at that facility as a possible opportunity. But that's just stage 1. I would say there's about 2 or 3 stages in our onboarding process. And once we kind of vet them, then sometimes we even go out to that facility so that we can see ourselves, how secure are they? Are they transparent about what they're telling us? The third or the second and third part of that is is having them take pictures. If there's no way we can get out there, we have them take pictures of their entire facility. And it might be a lot of work, but we're meticulous on making sure that parking facility is safe. And I know, Andrew, I'm looking at the corner of my eye. I know you're talking about like outstanding, like you guys are safe and secure for the driver. It's all about experience. We want to make sure that our drivers are going there and making sure that they're going to be safe from the minute they enter and the minute they leave. So that's how we really vet and make sure that these facilities are up to par.
No, definitely. And I think, because obviously, like, depending on people's experience in this industry, there are like legitimate crime sprees that happen in certain areas, because of whatever facilities that are in there. It's well known that's out there. That's why a lot of these shippers require that you don't stop within X amount of miles of the, there's a lot of stuff that kind of goes on behind the scenes. I don't want to go into that because I don't want to give away any tips on how some of these companies strategize to avoid that. But I also think, though, that, it is knowing this stuff, because like you're talking about the driver safety and security. Like, I mean, I'm going to be having a driver on my podcast here in the next couple of weeks. And what she told me on what she has to do on a nightly basis is appalling, and it's like, and that's just one female driver of, and even that it's not just female, male drivers as well, because male drivers have to do this exact same thing that's out there. I mean, come on. I mean, I know Teal brought this up, his first exposure as a child, same thing, man. Riding with my dad as a kid. Like, my dad had some fucking huge socket wrenches underneath his bed, ready to beat some dudes if they tried to bust into his truck, but again, like I giggle now because, fortunately my dad was never assaulted or anything like that out there, but that's a real problem that's out there, and again, no person at work should have to like legitimately think that especially sleeping at night, that's going to be a possibility that somebody might try and bust into their truck. And like, another thing, I want to put truck manufacturers out there. What more can you do to secure the locking mechanisms inside of those trucks? I understand there's windows. I get that. But what can you do that if they break a window and they're fiddling around to get it in there, that door doesn't get open and that driver has enough time to react to protect themselves? Because it seems like if you have to wrap a seatbelt around the door handle to latch it in, that's pretty ridiculous, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I want to talk to her too. I think that's if she can come up with a solution, or anybody for that matter come up with a solution, because I've seen those makeshift things. Like, we used to go on to truck stops and truck parking facilities to talk to drivers, get their feedback on the TruckPark app. But then we would go up to the driver door, and you have to pull yourself up, and then you kind of like look around and see if the driver was there, or they were probably in the back sleeping. But sometimes you see like a makeshift, like a crowbar stuck between, something like a piece of rope like tied to the steering wheel, so that like if somebody tried to like open that door, it would be stuck and they couldn't open it. But it's like there has to be a better solution out there for drivers. I mean, otherwise it's like they're like almost like MacGyver. If anybody remembers MacGyver back in the 80s with Richard Dean Anderson, he was so creative. He literally like come up with a bomb with like a candle and a spoon, right? So it's like these drivers have literally become MacGyvers, where they're like trying to MacGyver their doors and makeshift ways to be more secure, because they fear for their life. They really do. And I was joking a second ago about the MacGyver thing, but let's get real right now with the drivers. And this is the biggest passion for me, because my uncle was a driver. They fear for their lives. It's like, if that door's not locked, it's not makeshift locked, like they're afraid that somebody's going to come in, rob them, and hurt them. And especially let's talk about like female drivers as well, right? I don't want to spin this discussion any which way, but the female drivers are scared, and they're scared at truck stops. They go to truck stops, and you would think that there's all these trucks around you. If you needed anything, you could literally run right into the convenience store or the gas station. But they fear for their lives. Like, I've talked to Ellen Voy, you have as well, Chris. Yep. I've talked to some of their staff. I've talked to women drivers, and they fear for their life every day. So what really could help these drivers be safe and secure?
No, I agree. And it was I'm sorry, I forget the name of the law of, because it was that's what it was. It was that driver in South Carolina who was murdered in their truck, and stuff like that. And again, you shouldn't have to think about that when you're laying down your head at night to go to sleep and everything else. And, but, on the flip side, like the entrepreneur in me is like, somebody out there could create a locking mechanism to help this. Like, there's a solution to this. If somebody, like, I'm not smart enough to figure it out. I'm not an engineer, but there's a legitimate solution that you could come up with right now that you could get out there to help with this, because again, the safety, because like we look at, that thing that I don't even want to use that example. So I'm not even going to say it, but what not having adequate rest affects. It affects your motor skills. It affects your ability to react. There's a lot of things that trickle down from this. So if our drivers are not sleeping at night, if they're, like obviously, yeah, hey, truck stops are loud. I get that. But if there's somebody around, and they're thinking in the back of their mind, like, what if somebody breaks in or something like that, they're not resting. You never know what that's going to lead to. Again, it's like it's stuff like that, you want to see nuclear verdicts go away. Well, I can't say go away, but if you got to invest in how do we have our drivers more well rested? And I had my friend Mark Manera on last week about driver fitness. Another thing too, 85% of the drivers that are out there that are obese, like I was obese at one point and I fucking couldn't sleep at night and everything else. Like there's a lot of contributing factors to a lot of these issues, but I also think that there is something more that we can do as an industry to start bringing a lot of this stuff to light. That's why I love what you guys are doing and other companies out there that are doing, because you're taking an approach that has needed to be taken. It's not necessarily about anything other than how do we improve this overall. Andrew Teal has another good one he learned from his grandpa. Never park in the back row, never park on the end of the row. First two things his grandpa taught him about trucking. One keeps you alive and the other one keeps you from getting scuffed. Yeah, I'm assuming, drivers smoking you with with their truck. I've seen all those YouTube videos out there. I'm not going to mention this carrier that's always on there, but yeah, those are kind of funny. Michelle LeBlanc, what's going on? Female drivers. I heard from a female Trucker Tools user. Yeah, shout out to Trucker Tools as well. Check them out. Trucker Tools is a phenomenal organization. They're also a longtime supporter of what I'm doing here as well. They'll often fuel, eat, shower somewhere different from where they sleep at night in order to feel safe. I mean, again, think about that. You got to go fuel up, shower, get some food quick, and then you got to go to another area to go sleep. Like, that's ridiculous. And again, it's like the security measures that need to be taken in place. So like clearly there's a failure upon certain truck stops and other things else. Like if that has to happen, they're not taking it as seriously as they should. Or if they are, they have a shitty security guard out there who's not doing their job, and that's another thing. And I get it. Oh, it's so hard to hire people and everything else. Not if you actually invest in hiring the right people. There's a difference between just accepting every application that comes in. I just think that, again, safety and security is a basic human right that never should be thrown to the wayside, in my opinion, at all. Not just, and yes, especially for our female drivers that are out there, they should never have to think what Michelle just brought up. That should never come into their mind. And it's pathetic that it's a thing in this industry. And if you're a trucking company that's out there right now and you have female drivers and you're not talking to them about this industry or these issues, and if you're not doing something to change it, shame on you. Shame on you for not protecting your drivers. That is pathetic.
Yeah. Hey, I love your passion about it, because I'm the same way. I get in front of all these podcasts and these the radio shows, and I'm the same way. Like, I'll start off and we'll talk about TruckPark and all that, but really I don't want to really promote TruckPark. I'm trying to promote safety. I'm trying to promote helping these drivers, like empowerment of the drivers. I think that's a key word that this industry fails to use, is empowerment of the driver. Like, the driver literally moves this industry. Without the driver, this industry doesn't move. I mean, I don't have to play.
They're human beings,
people, but that's just how it works. So, I'm passionate about it too. Like, I can get out there. Like, in fact, I would love to go in front of, like, honestly, like big organizations like the ATA and really talk about this. Because one of the things that I don't like, and I've heard at certain shows, is like everybody talks about infrastructure and like how can we provide better, roads and highways. It's like, why do you keep on ignoring the truck driver? The truck driver needs to be safe. The truck driver needs to be respected. We need to power the truck driver. We need to finally talk about things that are actually important in this industry, and not all like the stuff that doesn't even make any sense. Like, why are you putting together, a $1 billion infrastructure bill to build up roads and
$1 billion. You're missing 900. You're missing 900 billion. You're missing 999 billion. It's $1 trillion infrastructure bill.
Exactly. So, but I'm not going to even get into the politics of it.
I know.
I would literally, my voice is already elevated. But I'm trying to say how passionate I just want everybody to know.
Absolutely.
It's not just me. It's you. It's John. It's Andrew. It's everybody on this. Everybody's here. The reason why we're all here and we're all watching and we're all commenting is because we have passion for drivers. Correct. We love drivers. We want drivers to feel respected. So, I mean, I don't think it's that hard to do so. Yeah,
man, I agree with that wholeheartedly, Anthony. I think that, again, it's got to take a group of, it's going to be a collective effort. All right. It's like, for me personally, I almost want to call it like a great awakening that's going to be happening here because again, there are a lot of phenomenal trucking companies that are out there that take care of their drivers, that have that best interest first. It's not that old fucking worn out, we love our driver message, and then they don't at all. And it's very clear. I think that, it's empowering them. Like, that's a human being behind the wheel. Like, you shouldn't have to, like, they should never be put in situations that compromise their safety, or anything like that. Weather, everything, no matter what, a human life is never worth a truckload. All right. Like, a human life is worth a hell of a lot more than a fucking late delivery due to weather. There's a lot of contributing factors here. And again, that's where my passion lies in it as well, is what actually happens out there. Cause, man, I personally witnessed the disrespect that has happened, not even just with my father, but other people. And again, I'm like that. It's not our topic of conversation today. It's another part of this, but man, it's just like, again, for it to change, it's going to take a collective effort. I want everybody to step up to this, say and do what you can. These organizations that are out there, do more. All right. Like, we can't just like put out some press releases every once in a while saying a little thing, like, do something. And again, this is why I don't bring and call anything out in particular, because I'm sure there are a lot of great organizations that are out there doing stuff. I'm not privy to that information, so I'm not going to comment on it. But again, I'm just happy to be a part of this overall in any way I can to help move this industry forward. And I know you're the same way. Let's take the last couple of minutes here, Anthony. Jess Tribuani. I hope I didn't butcher your last name, but I probably did. BJ's distribution centers all have showers for the drivers to use. That's good to know. Nico Brown, Carrier Street Drivers Like Equipment, and that is effing ridiculous. You can say it, fucking ridiculous. It's my show, I'll swear. Matt Laird, make truck driving respectable again. What up? Let's see. Her network is, Jess is back in there. Her network is great to drivers. Holidays, if drivers working the holidays paid for their meals. Michelle's going back. Here's so many stories. Okay, Nico, you're right. Drivers become the hey driver. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I know we just got a couple minutes here to kind of wrap up. This is what I love about these conversations, man. Like, these like literally fly by, but because again, it's about addressing actual problems that are going on, and that's what it is. It's these current events. And I'm not going to stop with this. I'm not going to stop with this until there's it's just never going to happen, because there's going to be a collective effort. This industry literally means everything to me. This industry has given me everything I have ever had in my entire life. Coming from a family of truck drivers to getting into this industry at a very young age, everything that I have experienced in this life is due to this industry. And it is my duty to move this shit forward in the direction that makes trucking sexy again, that makes the blue collar sexy again. Working with your hands is not a bad thing at all. Anthony, how does anybody reach out to you here?
Yeah, right before, I'll get into that. But right before that, first of all, I want to say I love being on the show with you, Chris, because every time we're on the show together, we have so much passion, right? Like, we talk so passionately about the truck drivers in the industry. And I want to say one thing before I talk about how you can get in touch with me, which is actually fairly easy. But the one thing I want to say is everything is about respect for me. So if you don't respect the drivers, and the funny thing is, people will be like, well, you build a truck parking company, so obviously you want the demand, you want more carriers. If you don't respect your drivers, and as Nico said, if you treat your drivers like absolute shit, I'm not going to work with you. So I think, and back to what you said, Chris, it is pathetic for carriers and even brokers to say, hey, listen, like, I don't care about the driver. As long as we make money at the end of the day, that's all that matters to us. Well, I don't want your business. I'm serious. Don't even call me. Don't call my company. Don't call my employees. Don't do anything of that. We don't want your business. We only want your business if you respect your drivers. Your driver isn't your asset. It is not your equipment. So that is something I just wanted to say. How to get in touch with me on a more enlightening subject. You can easily just connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm going to message you back. Like if it's about truck parking, it's about trucking, carriers, brokers, anything in this industry, about literally going in front of people and saying, like, holding a big respect sign up, message me and let's talk. You can also just find us on www.truckpark.com. You can send us a message in our contact, and you can also go to info@truckpark.com, shoot us an email. Our team will look at it. I'll probably go back to me or somebody on our team, and we'll respond accordingly.
Absolutely. I love it. See, that would be great outro music right now, having that Motown jam, RESPECT. Find out what it means to me. That's what we should have. That would have been perfect. Gosh, I can't wait till I have a studio behind me. We got people that are going to just pull up that music right away. Hey, you guys, thank you so much. All right, Jess Tribbiani. Gotcha locked in. Thank you for the clarification. Thank you everybody who was out there in the comments. It's literally growing every single week. Thank you guys all so much for your support. Thank you to Bitfreighter. Check them out, the preferred EDI partner of the Freight Coach. They're making this weekly show possible. I appreciate you guys all so much. Thank you. And we'll be talking to you next week.